to make for you the perfect Mother's Day brunch, breakfast or brunch. This can be made by someone who doesn't even have much experience in the kitchen. The kids can do this, the husbands can do this. Perfect for that special mom. It's very easy and it's quick. It is going to be a cheese and herb quiche with a green salad and a sweet lime vinaigrette dressing with some fresh fruit. So first things first, what we're going to start with is I have sitting here in this bowl 5 large eggs, and they've been sitting at room temperature for about 30 minutes. The reason why I want the eggs at room temperature is because it will bring volume or fluff to the quiche when they're at room temperature. So most baking, when you do that, you want your eggs to be at room temperature. So 20-30 minutes, okay? So 5 large eggs. I have a half a teaspoon of sea salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. You could use black pepper if you don't have white pepper, but the reason for that is just so that there's no black speckles in the quiche. I also have 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh basil. I have 1 tablespoon of fresh chopped parsley. And then I have 2 teaspoons of fresh dill, chopped dill, okay? I also have 1 cup of half and half. And then I have a ready-made pie crust. Usually you can get these in the store. They come 2 to a box. Not the frozen one. This is the refrigerated one. Pie crust, whatever favorite brand you have. And of course, I have my pie plate, okay? And what I'm gonna do is lightly spray the bottom of the pan. You don't have to do it a lot, okay? Just a little bit of a squirt. And then you're going to, and I have the oven preheated to 400 degrees, okay? So you're gonna start, if I can get this out, with the pie crust. And the pie crust has also been sitting out for about 30 minutes. That just makes it easier to unravel. I learned that the hard way. If you take it right out of the box, most likely you're going to end up breaking the pie shell. But these are pretty forgiving, and you can actually kind of mold them back in place if they do crack. So like I said, this is really easy for the kids to make, for mom or grandma or whoever, or the dad who's a mom. Okay, so what you're gonna do is roll it carefully in the pie plate and just kind of shove it in there. And when you're shoving it in there, do you notice how it makes the little bends? I don't know what this is properly called, but like it's fluted. So it gives it a little prettiness to the plate. So I'm gonna do that all the way around. You don't want it hanging over too much because then the pie crust is gonna burn a little bit. So if it is hanging over, just kind of, bend it. It doesn't have to be perfect or look like anything in particular. Just push it down a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is beat the 5 eggs, and I'm going to add the 1 cup of half and half. I would use half and half instead of milk. Milk might be just as fine, but the half and half will give it a little thicker and creamier taste than the milk will. You're gonna make sure you beat it pretty good. I'm telling you, this is super easy. I've made this at least 3 or 4 times, and it's so good. It has a lot of nice flavor to it, and it actually reheats really well too. So if you wanted to make this like the day before, you didn't have time to make it the morning you were gonna eat it, you can put it in the refrigerator, and then I would bring it to room temperature and then put it back in the oven like on 350 just till it warms up, maybe like 10-15 minutes. You might want to cover the edges if it really browned the first time you made it, so you don't burn the crust. But okay, so that's pretty good. All right, and now you're gonna just throw in all your herbs. Okay. And the salt and pepper. give it a mix. And then I have, I forgot part of the recipe, the cheese. So what I have here is a half a cup of, it's all mixed together. I have a half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. I have a half a cup of shredded Swiss and a half a cup of Gruyere. If you don't have Gruyere, you can use all Swiss. So there's a total of 1.5 cups of shredded cheese, plus I have a half a cup of crumbled feta cheese. You can use any kind you want. I prefer the imported. I usually use the Greek, but you can use any kind. The imported is just a little creamier than the domestic. The domestic is a little more firm and a little more dry. But use whatever you have. So what you're gonna do, like I said, there is a total of 1.5 cups of shredded in here, mozzarella, Gruyere, and Swiss, and then a half a cup of feta cheese. Sounds like a lot, but it actually works out really well in this dish. So you're going to literally throw it at the bottom of the pie crust, okay? You're not putting any kind of spray or anything in here. The cheese is going directly into the bottom of the crust. And just make it even, spread it out. You're gonna take your beaten egg mixture and literally pour it on top. And if you see in the plate here, you just want to kind of press the cheese down a little bit. And that is it. So you're going to put this in the oven. It's going to go in the lower rack of your oven on 400 degrees, and you're going to bake it for about 25 to 35 minutes, depending on your oven. You want it to be golden brown. And you want to make sure when you put a fork or a knife inside that it comes out clean. And then you're going to let it rest for like 10 minutes before slicing it. And I'm telling you, this is going to be fluffy and literally feel like you're hardly eating anything. It's not a heavy, dense, like an omelet. This is very, very fluffy and light. And you could probably eat like half the thing without even realizing it. So while that is, let me set the timer so I don't forget. I'm going to set it for 25 and see what it looks like then. And of course, if you know your oven, so if your oven tends to cook faster, then maybe set it for 20 to 22 minutes and then just keep checking it. Okay, so while that's going on, I'm going to tell you about this sweet lime vinaigrette dressing that is going to go on your mixed green salad. I already mixed this together. Super, super easy. Get yourself a bowl, bottle, whatever is easier. And what you're going to put in here is 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of white granulated sugar, regular table sugar. You're going to put 2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lime juice, 1/3 cup of fresh orange juice, sea salt and pepper to taste, and then you're going to, and you might want to put it in a bowl first, drizzle in 1/4 cup of olive oil and just keep whisking it, and then you can put it in a bottle and just shake it and taste it for salt and pepper. You know, there is no exact measurements, how much, whatever you like for it. And then this is going to go on top of the mixed greens that I'll show you in a minute. Okay? Be back in a little bit. I'm back.
Hold on. There we go.
Okay guys, I'm back, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like when you take it out of the oven. So after I put it in the oven, I realized that I put it in the middle, and so I took it out and put it on the bottom rack. And I baked it for 25 minutes, and I used my little, what do you call this thing? What is this thing called?
Tester.
The tester, there you go. And stuck it in the middle, and the egg was still really jiggly, so I put it in for another 5 minutes. I probably should have put it in for like another 3, because you don't want it to brown too much on the top. And after you let it sit for like 10 minutes, the egg will continue to cook. So you're going to let it sit for an extra 10 minutes. So It's been sitting for 10 minutes, and now I'm going to cut into this puppy. My gosh, it smells so good in here. It's like a bakery. It doesn't, I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't smell necessarily like eggs. It's like baked goods with a bunch of herbs, and it smells really good in here. So I'm gonna cut this. Now, if you're making this for mom, you don't want to be too chintzy with her slice. You can cut it in 4, so it's like 4 major servings. Or you can, of course, cut it a little smaller. But I guarantee you, you're going to come back for a second piece. So what I'm going to do is, and I have this plate, so if you're going to make this for mom, make sure you take out the good china. She deserves it. And I put, so look at this. Look how fluffy, and it's still steaming. Look how fluffy it is. It almost looks like the eggs are not cooked, but they are cooked. That's the cheese all melted in there. And of course it will harden even a little bit more once it's sat for a little bit longer. So like I said, look at this. It's too small of a piece. You've got to give mom the whole piece. But anyway, I've got the dressing here, the homemade dressing. Put some fresh fruit on there for her, and you're going to just kind of just drizzle this on there. And here is the perfect Mother's Day brunch. So now I'm going to taste this because it looks too darn good. And like I said, so this is going to be, actually I'll probably eat this for breakfast tomorrow. And it tastes just as good the next day. It doesn't matter. You could microwave it if you're lazy, but I would put it back in the oven to make it real fluffy. And now you can see that the crust has a nice golden color to it. And the bottom is cooked, but it's not going to get real dark unless you pre-baked your pie crust, and I wouldn't suggest doing that with an egg. So, oh my God, is this good. It is so fluffy, these eggs. It doesn't even taste like eggs. Really good. This might be my dinner tonight instead. And then this dressing is so light and has a lot of sweetness to it, but tartness too. So it goes perfect with the eggs. So this is Mom's brunch. Enjoy and have a great day.